our YouTube channel, Our Stitching Chronicles. I'm Kendall.
I'm Sarah.
And we've decided to start a YouTube just to share a little bit more about our love for knitting, and we can talk about it for quite a while. So, hence Our Stitching Chronicles.
Yes, and so the idea, this is chapter 1.
Yeah.
And so we're not saying these are episodes, these are chapters, because it's like an adventure and a journey, and we want you to come along on our journey as we both explore these amazing crafts.
And we want to hear your stitching chronicles and stitching stories as well. So tell us what you're working on. Share your stories of failure or success.
Yes.
We'd love to hear it.
In the comments.
Yep.
Excellent.
We are both Australian, and we really enjoyed knitting over the last few years, or last year.
For me, it's only actually been since July last year.
There you go.
Yes.
Not even a year.
No. But crocheting before that.
Yes. So both big crocheters,
Yeah.
but have entered the world of knitting and become like minorly obsessed. I started knitting when I was younger, but kind of picked it back up in 2023, and then probably like September, October last year, I just kind of went for it and picked everything up again. So here we are. But I am multi-crafter, so I also knit, crochet, sew, cross stitch, dabble at embroidery. That's probably it. Painting's not my thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I started crocheting, I reckon it was 2022 or 2023. I was studying online and I needed something to do with my hands.
Yeah.
And so I picked it up. Yeah. And then that's actually how I started following Kendall on Instagram. We didn't know each other before all of this. And I followed you for your crocheting masterpieces. And then last year I just got the itch to pick up needles. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And so I did. I had knitted my dad a scarf.
It's always a scarf.
Years ago.
Who needs a scarf?
Just this, and it was like this long.
Was it a rectangle or was it like?
Surprisingly, it was. My first attempt was not. It was the old
tapered triangle.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know whether I count that. I guess that's probably where I learnt some of my skills. But yeah, I think the crocheting really helped me to get good at the knitting skills. So I've been doing it since June, July last year. But aside from knitting and crocheting, I also sew. I have dabbled in some embroidery. Made my mother-in-law some really cool things.
I don't like the free form of embroidery. That's why I prefer cross stitch, because it's like everything has to look the same and very particular.
Yeah.
And embroidery is too like all over the place.
Yeah, so I did cross stitch as a child.
Yes.
And I think I found it a bit too for me. Yeah. Which is probably why I like the embroidery. I embroidered a friend's my friend had a baby, and I actually embroidered his name across a top for her.
Oh yeah.
So every month she took a photo.
That's cute.
It was very cute. So that was fun. It was a good skill to have.
Yeah. Well, how long have you been sewing for?
Goodness, I've been on and off sewing. I think a few years ago I had a go, but it was actually 2023 I took myself to sewing lessons.
Oh, fun!
So
Did you take along a pattern that you had to do?
Yeah. So every Monday night, and I'd take my sewing machine. So every month, because I wanted to learn how to use my sewing machine.
Sewing machine.
And so every Monday night after work, I would go, and I reckon it took me like 3 classes, and they're 3-hour classes, so it's 6 to 9. And I reckon it took me 3 classes just to cut one pattern out.
You've got to measure like twice before you cut.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't, once you cut, it's done, so you've got to do it right.
And I was making clothes, so you have to get the grain right, and I had like patterns, so you had to match all of that.
Oh, you like legit professional.
Oh,
you're worried about like pattern matching.
I'm going to show you something. I was back then. I'm not so much anymore. So I made myself this bag, and it's got all sorts of pockets.
Such a good colour.
Pockets and whatnot inside it for my laptop. And I didn't worry about matching.
What's that for?
Oh, that's like, I think like just a tag to make it look professional.
It does, but I was like, can it hold a pen?
Yeah, no. Oh, actually.
Yeah. You put a pen over there.
But yeah, as you can see, I wasn't about matching.
It's fine.
But yeah, so they're the kinds of things I sew. I find like, you know, I need a little pouch. Oh, I'm just going to quickly sew.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's a great skill.
And I'm sure you've got like a very well stocked like fabric cupboard, right?
Oh,
Oh no, you're pretty good.
yes and no.
Okay.
I've
Just
got-
the yarn.
No, probably I do actually. I'll have to show you it after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I do.
Yeah.
I go to op shops actually.
Yeah, but
there's
yeah.
one in Port Elliot that
Yes.
has amazing
Oh.
fabrics and like
good
decent quantities.
Okay.
So
Oh, yes, it's the one, and you go out the back, and there's like the massive room, and they've all got
Yes.
heaps of like knitting books and stuff too.
yes. Yeah,
And
yeah.
it looks really, really small, but it stretches back
Yes.
so far.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I have sewn since I was probably a child. Mum was a sewer, so I kind of would just be like, oh, she's doing it, so I want to do it. And then my dad actually was a knitter. I think I've said that before,
Yes.
but I didn't learn from him. I learned from Google.
Yeah.
So,
Google.
I
YouTube.
know.
No, Google or
it was
YouTube?
like a little like idiot's guide to knitting. Like it was this tiny book that I bought for $1 from Target, and then combined that with like I just looked something on Google and I needed to know it, and yeah. And again, it was a scarf. I knitted a scarf
Love
first,
that.
but I like joined it in the middle, so it was like a cow.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Like yeah. I had a little
Nice.
pattern on it, so I could knit and purl, and then purposely put the purl on the other side, and it was pretty fancy for a first project.
Yeah.
It was good. But that was probably like going back 10, 15 years, I reckon.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think I threw it out. I don't think I've got it anymore.
That's devastating.
I've got photos of it. I'll find it.
My dad still wears the scarf that I made him.
Oh,
So,
that's
yeah.
good. So you can also find it and get a photo.
Yeah, yes.
Right.
Yeah, I'll get a photo
Maybe.
for you. I'll ask
Yeah.
my dad.
My dad has like heaps of cool sweaters that he knitted. And so I've got one of them because they recently moved house, so I just like kept one. And I think he made that one for Mum, but then I've also got like the matching pattern for it.
Oh,
So that's
I
good too.
like that.
Not about to make my own, but it's just fun.
It's awesome.
Vintage 80s. All right, so on to knitting. Favourite thing that you knit in 2024?
I would have to say this.
So fresh up the blocking mats.
It is. I finished it the other day and then
Yes.
I blocked it yesterday and I thought that I'd ruined it completely because it was like the perfect fit. I'll put a photo in. The perfect fit when I
Yes.
finished it and then I blocked it and the weight of the wool and the water just like whoops. And it was like, honestly, it was nearly at my knees. The sleeves were down here. I was like, I've ruined it. But as you can see, I don't know if I can get up, but it's just like this perfect,
Yeah.
oversized,
It's good.
warm, comfy. So I made it using Drops Karisma.
Yes.
Held with Drops Silk.
Yeah.
Silk Air. The
Yeah,
silk.
yeah.
The mohair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I reckon one of them was dusty pink. I should have written this down. One of them was dusty pink and the other one was light pink.
Yeah.
So not my normal colour palette.
Yeah.
I'm normally quite neutral or like earthy
Yeah.
tones, but
When it's a Kutovakika pattern.
right, and
You
because
gotta
look
go
at
with the
hers,
colour.
all the jumpers that I loved of hers with this gorgeous pinky pale
Yeah.
pastel-y, and I was like,
It's good.
do it, and I love it, and
Yeah.
I'm so glad I
Yeah.
did.
Back up second.
Back up, so well, look, it's actually a tide.
Oh yeah.
This
yeah.
is, we're going to talk more
Alright.
about our make nines after, but this was one of my make nines. And so, like, my plan for what I'm knitting this year. So this is the field sweater. I'll put a name on the
Yeah.
screen. I can't remember her name now. But the details.
So good.
I
It's so
absolutely
squishy.
love this.
The
So
colour is so good.
I used the suggested yarn, which
Yes.
was the
Yep.
is it Isaga?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Eco Baby Alpaca. So it's a complete eco wool, which is like undyed, untreated.
It just feels so nice.
As much as
As much as
treat and
Yeah.
clean wool and whatnot, but none of the other processes. And I met the gauge, which
Yep.
was good. So I used the suggested yarn and the suggested needles. This part here took so long.
So
when I
long.
got to the widest part, it was like 40 minutes to a round.
That is dedication.
But if you recall, once I hit the body,
Yeah.
I think it was like 2 days.
Yeah.
I was on holidays and it was all I did.
Also, peep the cute little label.
Oh.
So fancy.
I got them from Etsy. There's this guy in Melbourne who does
Yeah.
them. Yeah, and he's great. And I got little tags too.
Oh,
Yeah.
I gotta get on this.
Let me show you.
So
I
fun.
think I got them from Europe.
So professional.
Somewhere. Yeah. I had this plan that maybe I'd sell my clothes, and then when I realised how much I'd have to sell them
Yeah. Yep.
for. But I get really sick and tired of trying to figure out which way's the front and which way's the back.
Yeah.
I like to put a tag
Yep.
in.
Oh, that tiny little notch there is the back.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't work.
Yeah. So what's your favourite thing?
So, my favourite thing that I knitted in 2024 is this one.
It's so beautiful.
So this is the Lumme pullover by Sari Nordlund. It's my first colour work item. And since then, I want to do some more colour work. I've done like a sock, but I haven't finished the second sock. But
Sounds like a common thing.
I know, it is. That's why you do two at a time, so you have to finish them together. This is made from Juniper Moon Herriott alpaca yarn in like a talc colour 01. And then the mustard is Peppin 10 in a mustard, which technically I've used two different weights. Probably not recommended, probably breaking all the rules, but I really like it. And it's
It adds texture.
It does, it's got
Adds
heaps more
something.
texture.
Yeah.
And you can see like how much better my colour work got on the sleeve versus the raglan. But it's so comfy and I can't wait to wear more of it. I'm glad it's like a little bit cooler that we can wear out.
I know, I got to
Tunnel
wear this one
today.
out this morning because it was...
Yeah.
Well, it is getting a little warmer
Yeah.
now, but we'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And
Yeah.
what was your runner-up?
Runner-up is...
Sorry, before you go on, how long did this take you?
Not that long.
Okay.
Like, I'd have to check, but probably a month to 6 weeks.
Okay.
I reckon.
Yeah.
Like, once you start the colour work, it's very addictive.
Yeah.
Because you just want to see the patterns start coming together, and I didn't make too many mistakes in the actual colour work.
Nice.
So, yeah. And I should put a picture up of the floats, because it's like the inside.
I love floats.
I know. There's no sections that are too tight. In fact, there's probably too loose in spots, but...
Excellent. All right, your
My
runner-up.
Oh, is it really my runner-up? It's probably not. There's too many others, but we made matching...
two runner-ups.
I know. We made two matching Sailor Swift tees
We did.
by Kutovakika. Yeah,
We made them together.
we did.
I think this is what bonded us.
It's probably the reason we actually met, because we were like, I don't know how to do iCord, and you didn't either. So we're like, well, let's just go to a cute little cafe, and we'll work out how to do iCord together. It can't be that scary. And it wasn't.
It wasn't.
And it was fun. We
Long
just,
and
like-
tedious, but not scary.
Yeah. Oh, it was so cute. There was this little lady next to us, and she was like, it's so good to see young people out knitting. I know, it's so sweet.
Bless her.
We're
She
not
was
that
lovely.
young, but thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So yeah, that one, and that's in, I did cotton 4-ply Bendigo Woollen Mills for mine, and I think you did...
I did cashmere cotton by the Bellissimo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Is it this one?
Yeah, but that's cotton, not...
No.
Yeah, that's not
No,
cashmere.
Bellissimo. Oh, I'll put it up. I don't have the memory that Kendall does to remember all my yarns, but it's cashmere cotton and it was a 5-ply. So,
Yeah. What is on your needles or hooks at the moment?
At the moment, I
This is like another kind of buddy knit thing.
I have actually cast off a lot, so I'm able to focus my attention on this one. Let me try and, because it's dark, it's probably really hard to see the detail in this. But it's called the Devon Sweater, and it's actually like a yarn brand pattern,
Yes.
if that makes sense. So it's like
It's a bit older, isn't it?
Barocco? Or
Yeah, yeah.
What is it? What did you say?
Like it's an older pattern.
Yeah, it is. Knit flat, didn't realise that when I chose it. Would have chosen a round. But to be honest, I hadn't done the cable work on this yet, and so this was my first ever cable
Yeah, there you
work.
go.
And so I was, my husband, all over the place here. I'm making this for my husband. It was his Christmas present. He wanted me to just buy the yarn and the pattern, put it in a box and give it to him for Christmas, and then I could take my time making it ready for our cooler season.
Yeah. You've got till what, like June?
He would like it by his birthday, which is the end of April.
Okay.
Which, to be fair, I mean,
That's
that's
fine. Yeah,
you know, that's autumn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cooling down. So yeah, I hadn't done any cable work before, so, and he wanted something with cable on it, and I I was a little intimidated, not gonna lie. So I chose this because it just seemed the easiest. So the back panel is just straight stockinette and the sleeves are straight stockinette.
Yeah.
This back panel, I measured the gauge about 4,000 times and it was correct.
Yeah.
And then I've got this, it must be in my crafting room. I've got this square thing that my husband 3D printed me that you put on and then you can count, and I used that and I was like, oh my gosh, my gauge is wrong.
No.
And so, because I was like, why is it seems so wide. And it's about 2 to 4 inches wider than it should be. So I'm gonna have to undo this whole thing.
At least it's like stockinette and you're not undoing cable work.
Yes, this is true. So when I cast on the front, I went down a size and this is so much better. But it's really quick. Like I've done this is probably 2.5 evenings.
Yeah.
And this was a few days.
Yeah.
Like, because it is quite chunky. It's on 8mm hooks, and I'm using Bella Ray chunky tweed from Yarn Traders.
Yes. Yep. The
I
colours, like the
bought-
flexion colour is so cool.
I know.
really
I
like it.
bought every ball they had on this, which was 8, and I was scared I was not going to have enough. Watch this space as I play Yarn Chicken.
You know what? Maybe it'll be fun.
I think it'll be fine in the smaller size.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I bought that for the larger size.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a beautiful yarn. I don't love working with such chunky needles though.
Yeah.
I find it, especially with cable work, I find it really fiddly and awkward.
Yeah.
And I really struggle with my tension in cable work. But
No.
yeah,
It's cool.
loving
Amazing.
it. Very happy. And how about you?
So I did bring the back panel of mine. So I have 2 sleeves that we're knitting at the same time.
So clever.
But it will be for the Haskins sweater, which is a Brooklyn tweed pattern. I'm using 8-ply Bendigo Woollen Mills in like a smoky blue colour, and again this one's for my husband too, so he picked out the colour. It's cotton because it's for our 2-year wedding anniversary, which is cotton themed, so that's pretty fun. But it's got this really fine like cabling detail down the front and down the back, and then the sleeves are just plain stockinette. So the aim is to the aim is to finish the sleeves, do the front, and then quickly assemble it all together by the end of March. So hopefully we'll be done.
Love this.
But it just means that my life at the moment is this, and there's no time for any other cast-ons or any other projects. We are just deep in the sleeves.
Yes.
So yeah, what I'm finding really helpful about sewing too at the same time, knitting, is that I'm not making mistakes on one, like I'm just doing it on both and they'll match. So if I do make mistakes, at least they'll match across the 2 panels.
Well, didn't you have a point in that where you'd accidentally
I had gotten distracted and just gone with the same ball of yarn all the way across, but I realised only 1 row in, so I only had to frog 1 row.
That's good.
So, but it's, it means that they match. They're the same length. I'm not like picking up the second one going,
What's this? That's my challenge.
Did I do there again? So, if it has to be like knitted flat, I like that I can do them 2 at a time and just keep them separate. So,
well, I'm thinking, I don't know for certain, but I'm going to try, and because the collar is done after it's been assembled.
yeah.
So I'm thinking of sewing the back and the front together and then picking up stitches in the round for the sleeves. Because it's a stockinette sleeve.
Yeah.
I just find it easier to knit them around. Don't have to do all the pearl rows.
Yeah.
And the pearl, I think, is where I lose a lot of my tension in this chunky yarn, just because of how it's held.
Yeah. Yeah, and you are a Continental knitter?
I am a Continental knitter. I think when I first tried knitting, I did it English style, and it was so slow, and I don't have the focus and brain capacity to do things that are slow. Says the girl who has such slow hobbies. But yes, so I kept, and so I put it aside because I was like, no, I don't love it. And then I kept seeing all these videos of people like knitting, and it was like really satisfying. And then I didn't know that it was Continental. Yeah. I was just like, I really like that style. And I was at this knitting meetup, and this lady was like, "You're a Continental knitter," and I was like, "Oh,
fancy."
What are you?
I'm English.
No, no.
Yeah.
I knew that.
I don't know. It's just I tried Continental and I haven't been able to work it out yet.
No.
So that little pearl twitch, I can't do it yet.
Pearl twitch.
Like the flicking the yarn forward to then like.
Oh yes, but people I
don't know
who purl Continental and they like use this finger to bring it.
That's what I was trying, but
I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't do that. So do you know what? I know I'm up to a knit, right? I was like, I want to a purl. Always end so that when you pick it up, you can knit.
Yeah.
I'll have to show you how I purl because
I
I keep my hand still and I use the needle.
Okay.
I use this hand.
Yeah.
Like crocheting.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but I'm going to work it out.
But you know, I saw a video the other day of the two different types of English knitting. So there's the throw and the grab, or the throw and the
I think I throw.
other one.
Yeah.
And the Continental, and she was comparing all three.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, the English style looked just as quick the way she was doing it as the Continental. And it's honestly what your preference is, what you're used to.
Yeah. Make nines.
How are you holding your make nines in your mind?
Very loosely. I think we were sending ours back and forward to each other, and I was like, I'm going to put things down, but like, if it changes because a new pattern comes out or I notice something else, I've at least like got a different category. So I think there's like a sweater in mine, there's a cardigan, there's an accessory, so that I can make changes if I need to, and kind of just stick loosely to like, kind of like a category kind of. But yeah. But in saying that, we're holding it loosely, but I've bought lots of yarn for the project, so I don't know how that's going to work.
Tell me, what have you got? What is on your make nine?
On my make nine, well, I'll just grab my little.
Ooh, she's throwing
yarn. Yeah, it's expensive. Come back. So I'm going to make a silly slipover, which is by Petite Knits in Morris and Sons Empire Templar yarn, and it's so soft.
That feels so amazing.
Right? So I'm just thinking of it in like a cute little vest, and it'll be so soft and it'll be so warm. It'll just be like this, but even warmer. I can't wait.
Oh my gosh. You get me some of this.
Yeah.
Okay, continue. Well,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna love on this for a little while you talk.
So yeah, so I'm gonna make the silly slipover, which is really cute. It's got like little like dots and zigzags in it, I think.
Okay.
I also want to make the framed sweater by Drea Renee Knits,
Okay.
but I don't have any of the yarn for that one.
Okay.
So that could be one to go on my list of things to look for. But again, it uses lots and lots of different colours, that I just need to pick the right like colour combo for it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah. I want to make the book club cardigan because I was too late to the party last year to join the knit along that everyone else is in. But I think I'm going to make it in the Bendigo Woollen Mills Cactus Bamboo Twist. So it's an 8 ply, but I feel like it's got enough texture in it that I won't need to hold it with a mohair like she recommends. And it's got like almost like this little like white flecks through it. So you can feel it. Yeah.
I love that colour.
I know, but I'm just going back and forth between like everyone's beautiful neutral book club cardigans and like the deep green.
I find deep green is a borderline neutral colour. It's a natural colour.
Yeah.
I think this would look stunning in that.
So we have cast that one on a couple of weeks ago just because I wanted to see what it would feel like if I needed to look for another yarn when I was in Melbourne. But I think we're going to stick with it. I think we're going to do it. I've been really loving like the coloured yarns, like I don't know, like the hand dyed, hand done. So this is fibre Spates and a socks, so I think they're both 4 ply. This one has like beautiful pinks and mustards through it, but I'm going to make the Alpine Bloom beanie by Caitlin Hunter. So it's got like this beautiful like floral pattern, so colour work, floral pattern through it. So this will be the floral pattern, and this will be the like background kind of that. I also want to make the Poetry Pullover by Sari Nordland, and I've got this like 4 ply mint colour that might work for that. Again, we'll hold it loosely, it might not, and it might need to find another use. But I picked this up on a really good sale, and there should be plenty. So beautiful like lacework pattern from the top down, so I'm excited for that one, and I think it will work in that colour.
That'd be nice.
I did originally want it in like a light purple, but I think we'll go mint. Obviously the Haskin sweater has to be on there. It's going to be the first thing I finish. I also want to make a muscle burrow.
Yeah.
Is that how you say
it? I'm going to go yes.
By Isolde. And I don't have any yarn picked out for that, but I've heard that it's a really the pattern works really well, and you can kind of adapt it to whatever yarn you've got. So it'll just be like my...
I'm pretty sure she matches it to your gauge.
Yes.
So you have to do a gauge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I figure whatever I've got,
yeah,
I can use. And then I put a crochet item on my Make 9. I don't know. Are you allowed to do that? What are the rules? So we're making them. So I did.
It's your Make 9.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, personally, I had separate Make 9s.
Could have like compromised on them. That's fine.
Oh, what's
that
this?
one? I couldn't have. Could I can Make 9 for crochet?
I'm not doing a Make 9
okay.
for crochet. No,
For
I've
sewing?
got sewing.
Yeah,
and knitting. Yeah.
So I put a crochet item on my Make 9. So I put the Amiata pullover by Nomad Stitches, and I'll use a cotton yarn. I'm not sure what colour yet, but it's a really cool pattern. It's even got like this detailing down by the side hem where it like overlaps and sits in front. It's just really detailed. It's got this beautiful texture. But because I'm making Craig a cotton sweater for our 2-year wedding anniversary, I'm hoping that he buys me some nice sweater quantity yarn of cotton that I can use on that one. So I might need to do like some very particular like, hey,
I was going to say
this colour.
Drop
in this. Little bits and pieces here and there.
Good.
But it's also annoying because crochet uses more yarn.
Oh, so much
I'm
more.
like, "Blah." Okay, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But that's my one crochet item. I'll make other crochet things.
Yeah.
The crochet bug will come back to me, but for now, there's that one. And then, I'm really excited about this. So, when I went to Make It in Melbourne, it was delightful. I spent like a good hour there. I was just picking out the yarn that I'd buy for one of my projects. And so I really want to make the Funky Gustav sweater by Calibri by Joanna. And so I bought these 3 colours. They're so fun. And I've just realised that this one, if you're Australian, it's totally just like paddle pop colours. Just a paddle pop.
So a paddle pop.
Yeah.
So
the official colour is called Princess. And these are all black wattle yarns in Sweet Pea. So they've got like this beautiful glow because they've already got like, I have to check. 60% superwash merino, 20% alpaca and 20% silk.
Oh.
So they're just like,
I know.
go on, squish it. So I think this will work.
It's a 4-ply, is it?
4-ply. Yeah.
And these ones.
But I'll just have to play with gauge because I don't want to have to hold lace weight with it. So we'll see. Again, we're holding it loosely. If it doesn't work, I'll have a beautiful yarn to use for another project. But yeah.
And it is so beautiful.
That's my plans. But also in my plans is this beautiful, beautiful thing. So this is the Woollen Works Rufous mohair. I just love the colour.
It's so beautiful.
Maybe I can use this in like a muscle burra or I don't know. So I have 2 of these in stash.
Oh,
so
definitely hold.
You've got to hold it with
beanie,
something.
I reckon,
Yeah.
Or scarf.
Yeah.
Is there enough for a scarf?
Probably. Yeah. I think there's a fair chunk.
You make a really nice little
season.
scarf.
And I do have some of this in sock weight as well, but like sock weight's easy. I'll just use that for socks or something else. But yes, so that's also in my plan somewhere.
Have you got any other like ideas or we've been messaging backwards and forwards where we're like, oh, can I add this to my Make 9? The next 10.
The Staffen cardigan vest whole situation has come out since I made my Make 9, and that's tempting. The book club cardigan is going to come out as a pullover, so I'm like, I could wait, but I think I like the idea of cardigan.
Yeah.
It's all of that. Everyone makes really cool like zipper sweaters. I haven't done that yet, but anyway, I'm like, that's cool, but I just don't know that I'd wear it either. So I think that's it. Okay, I'll do like a pair of socks in there. We were talking about doing like some deco socks.
Yes.
Oh no, and I forgot the wind pullover.
Oh,
the one that they just posted last week from Pom Pom magazine. And I realised even better, it's a free pattern.
Oh.
So it's like raglan, I think, I haven't looked too much into it, raglan with like colour work with these like upside down looking daisies and then embroidery like back over the top to kind of bring some of the detail out. I was like, oh my gosh. But it's a Pom Pom mag with like hobby yarn. And so I think it's free, which is, I found that out yesterday. I was like, oh my gosh.
Love that.
So, make 15.
I think I've been joking mine to make 1 billion.
Yeah, make infinity. It doesn't end.
You posted this beautiful thing about the balance between the creativity side and the
I say the science
skill
side,
side,
the
the science skill side. And my goal for myself this
Yeah.
year is to focus on the journey and
Yeah.
like embracing that, okay, instead of keeping something that I'm not totally satisfied with, I'm going
Yeah.
to unravel it and redo it. Because I want to focus on the journey rather than just getting all the finished products out. And so
Yeah.
I really struggle with that
Yeah.
creativity of I see
Yeah.
this and I'm like, oh, I want to do that, and I love that skill that looks like it's going to be involved
Yeah.
in there, and you know, I want to do this and this, and then you end up with 4,000 projects and not enough time. So
Yeah.
make 9 for me.
Make 9.
I am going to be making the Love Letter top by
Oh.
Kutovakika. So
What's that?
what's that you say?
The
This
finish.
is what it looks like. Kendall has made one.
What colour are you going to do?
I'm thinking I'll do like the neutral.
Yeah.
I haven't got the yarn for that. That is to be bought.
To be bought.
So I have got the Love Letter top by Kutovakika. Kutovakika was actually one of the biggest influences for me to actually start knitting. I watched her knitting wedding dress video. Anyway, I love her patterns, so as you can probably tell.
Yeah.
So I've got a couple of hers on my list. The next thing I am making is a scarf for my husband.
It's being quite noisy right now, and I hope that's not coming through.
He has a very loud voice. He actually does not know how to whisper. Like, I kid you not, can't do it. In December, I went to the Christmas markets in Lobethal.
Yes.
At, what's it called? The Craft? No, the Loft. I will put the place in.
Yeah.
They held the most amazing Christmas market where all these different local makers were selling their things.
I'm so bummed I didn't go.
And you really should have. It was probably one of the best markets I've been to as a maker, as a crafter, because there was so much there for me. Anyway, I picked up 2 balls of this yarn. It's hand dyed by Craft by Bella, who is a local dyer from the Adelaide area. I'm going to be making, now, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but I think it's Cirrus Scarf. C-E-R-U-S, Cirrus.
Okay.
I'm going with that.
Yeah.
So it's a textured kind of like the it's not just a basic, rib stitch kind of scarf. So I'm going to make that for him using this. It's a really nice, it's actually a wool nylon kind of blend.
Oh yeah.
I fell in love with the colour.
Kingfisher.
I have already finished one of my Make 9 objects for the year.
Yes.
Hashtag. And that was the beard
Ahead of the
sweater.
game.
So I kind of cheated and I casted this on in December, but it was like end of December.
Yeah.
So this was on my Make 9, which is complete.
Which
so
means
field.
Once you've made one of your Make 9, you can just add a new one, right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes.
It's just a rolling Make 9.
So that's actually Camilla Vad is the pattern maker designer for that one. Then I have my Devon sweater for Dave, which I've already talked about. Now I've got the Mohair Gallant sweater. Now I thought I bought the yarn for that.
Oh, okay. But you did not.
I was originally going to, I bought all of this Drops Kid Silk yarn for it. I bought the right amount. So the Mohair Gallant sweater is made just by holding 2 strands of mohair and mohair together, and it's just very basic stockinette. It's really beautiful, very simple. But I didn't love the colour.
Yeah.
I love mustard, and the pattern picture is mustard. I'll put a picture up for you to see.
Should have just gone with the
And
mustard.
I should have gone with the mustard, and I don't know why I didn't. You live and learn, you live and learn.
Still time.
But I am going to put this to use, which I will talk about after. So I've got to reorder that yarn. We'll see, but it's a beautiful sweater. Now, I have the Seasons cardigan on my list. I don't have the yarn yet, so I've got to look for something for that. However, I've looked at a few other cardigan patterns, and so I think I'm doing a little bit like you, holding it loosely.
Yeah.
That if I find a cardigan pattern that I like better, I'm going to swap it out.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to attempt to make 3 muscle burr beanies. One for my husband, one for my brother, and one for me.
I do feel like they'd make great, presents, I think.
Yeah. So I made my brother beanie. I made my brother a beanie when I was crocheting, and I didn't do a gauge swatch.
Yes.
And it was a chunky yarn that I used with an 8-ply pattern. I was a brand new crocheter, like brand new.
Yeah.
So I made this beanie that ended up.
Yeah.
And he still wears it. He took it camping with him recently. And the fact that he still wears it, I was like, I have to make him something that he'll actually
Can take
like.
the place of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I bought this at Fibre Feast last year.
Yes.
Fluff and Nonsense. She's from Melbourne, I think, the Victoria area. It's just a superwash merino with a bit of nylon in it, so that'll be good for my brother's a builder. He'd be wearing it all the time to work and stuff. So
Greens are beautiful.
I know. And I showed him a few photos of different coloured yarns that I had, and I was like, "Which one do you like?" And he said he liked this one. So pretty. I know.
No, good.
So that's
good
one
choice.
of them. Oopsie, the other one I'm thinking for my husband is in this. So I don't know if you can see that fleck in there with the white, but this one is, it feels amazing. You can have a feel after. It's sport weight. It's 60% Australian extra fine merino, 20% silk and 20% linen. So
So soft.
yeah, so that's for my husband, and then for me, I don't have the yarn for me yet. I might have a bit in there, but I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do for myself. I bought myself this book for Christmas. I love it because I love Kutovakika, as I said.
Yeah.
And so I had put on my Make 9 that I would make the Sweetheart sweater, but I am debating whether I make the Sweetheart or whether I make the Coffee Run.
Yeah.
I love both, but I may make both. It depends on timing.
I feel like the Coffee Run is just such a good staple.
Coffee Run is such a good staple, and I have a yarn idea for the Coffee Run already. So the Coffee Run and the Sweetheart both actually hold a 4-ply with 2 lace weights. Really expensive.
Really expensive. Goodbye bank account. Basically.
So I'm trying to find a way that I don't have to hold 2 lace weights together.
Yeah.
But I had this that I bought ages ago for a crocheting project that I never finished. Did
you start it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
I've done half of the back panel or the front panel or something, but I just never finished. But it's 50% alpaca, 50% wool, and it's made in Peru.
Yeah.
And it's this really beautiful, just like neutral kind of, I've already done a little swatch for it. Don't love how it feels in my hands as I knit it though, but it feels alright once it's knit.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, because it's sport weight, I'm thinking of pairing it with this.
I think
so I'll do a little gauge, see how that works, and then I've just got myself a really beautiful neutral everyday kind of.
Neutral's great.
Yeah. And then my last one is also,
like when I think about what I could do my book club cardigan as, that's kind of like the dirty cloud vibe.
Yes. Well, this looked different in the pictures. It didn't look quite as greyish.
No, but I think this is really oatmeal-y, and so I think they'll balance each other out.
Yeah, I like that oatmeal.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping the oatmeal will make this look a little lighter.
Yeah.
So my last one is from this book as well, and it's the Sundazed tank top, which is actually one of the ones on the front.
Yep.
And I am
Good staple.
making it in this 8-ply cotton, so it's 100% Pima cotton.
Yep.
I got this from Yarn Trader on our trips together.
Yep.
And it's so beautiful. And so Pima cotton is supposed to not pill as much as regular cotton. So gonna make that in this.
How does that compare to this is Bendigo Woollen Mills cotton? Is it a similar colour? Yours is slightly darker, I
I
think.
think it is. Mine's more red winey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
Don't know if you can see that on the camera, but
Slightly darker.
Yeah. It's more red winey.
Fun.
I do have a Make 9 for my sewing, but I'll show you them as I make them maybe. Rather than go through them.
Yeah. The last thing is that in a couple of weeks, so in 2 weeks.
2 weeks today.
Yes. There's a local Adelaide-based yarn festival show. It's been running for a couple of years. It's called Fibre Feast. And so we are hoping to go.
Hoping it's happening. We are going. And we're going together.
Yeah.
Last year I went with my husband, and while he's the most patient and supportive in my yarn loving adventures, he got bored and he wanted to leave, and he was hot.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
and I was there on my own, and it felt weird looking at everything by myself, and so that was also strange. So that's exciting. And we are planning to do some filming, planning to do some purchasing. We're going to think about what we need.
I have already made a list.
Yeah.
I have written down the make nines that I don't have yarn for yet, and my additional
Very
things I want to
organised.
make.
Very organised. And yes, so we will report back.
Yes.
After Fibre Feast.
We will make a video specifically for our Fibre Feast adventures.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming along on Chapter 1.
Chapter 1, our
Yes.
Stitching Chronicles.
We look forward to seeing you shortly for Chapter 2, which will be on Fibre Feast. But hey, if you have any ideas of what you want to hear about or whatever you want us to talk about, put it in the comments and we can certainly plan some chapters around that.
That's it. Otherwise, we'll just keep showing our fun makes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're ready. Thanks, guys. Bye.